Hello, great people. Personnel of Nigerian Army are allegedly involved in oil bunkering. Oil bunkering is the illegal extraction of oil and the smuggling of it within and outside Nigeria. So you want to ask yourself that if the personnel of the Nigerian Army that are supposed to protect Nigeria's oil assets, knowing fully well that Nigeria operates a monoproduct economy dependent on oil, if those people are now the ones sabotaging the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians at large, then you want to ask yourself, which way Nigeria? Investigative journalist Fisayo Shoyombo conducted a discrete research in the Niger Delta, and coincidentally, in the course of his research, the military raided the creeks and he was picked up. And in this video that I'll be showing you in a moment, Fisayo Shoyombo said a lot of things. He revealed how the personnel of Nigerian Army are aiding and abetting oil bunkering. He also revealed, shockingly, how the information he gave to the Nigerian Army after he had identified himself as an investigative journalist in their office was revealed to the oil bunkers, and how the oil bunkers interacted with him afterwards. And you want to ask yourself that if Fisayo Shoyombo was to be living in the Niger Delta, what would have happened to him? And the person that connected them, that connected Fisayo Shoyombo to the criminal oil bunkering network, you may want to ask yourself about the safety of such a person. But then, it leaves a lot to be desired on the part of the Nigerian military. The guy said a whole lot of things, so many things that I'm just going to leave you with this video for you to hear it yourself. And I look forward to your comment in the comment section. What do you feel about what is going on in the Niger Delta, particularly this revelation, staggering revelation by investigative journalist Fisayo Shoyombo? By the way, shout out to Fisayo Shoyombo, because I have conducted a scientific research in the Niger Delta before, and I know that it is a great risk to embark on such a research. Shout out to our Arise team for this clip. Let me leave you with Fisayo Shoyombo's revelation. Let's watch it. Let's watch it.
That illegal oil bunkers were bribing different people in various security formations, and I would endanger my life by carrying them along if I didn't know who was who. So that's the first problem they had, that you were doing this story and you did not involve us. Now, I have been vindicated because I spent 3 days in military. Everything I told the highest levels of the army, the illegal bunkers were telling me when I left. You get, when they picked me up, it was around 2 a.m. We were in the bush until maybe 4, 5. A soldier stole my 2 phones. The army, I'm saying it on air, I have to fish out that soldiers and punish him. You can't arrest people and then your man is stealing. And when we left, they took me to a camp, a military camp close to that place. We were there till afternoon, until about 3 p.m. I did not say a word about who I was, because I felt it was too general a place to make that kind of statement. They all felt I was an illegal oil bunkerer, and I played along until they took me to 6 Div. And I thought from then I was speaking with people in offices who were investigating the case. That's when I said, look, I'm actually an undercover journalist. This is proof. But everything I told them, the things I wrote in my statement, as I got out yesterday, illegal oil bunkers were telling me, who are you? We thought you were one of us. Now, this is what they said you are. This is who they said you are. They said you are a detective. You are an undercover journalist. Is it true? So, was I not right by not carrying the army along? Because how can you grill me at the 6th Div? And every single thing I told you, I got out yesterday and the illegal workers were telling me every single thing. And they made no mistakes. Is illegal oil bunkering cannot stop in this country. I can tell you that. You know, some of the senior army officials were saying the President Bola Tinubu has said no to bunkering. You people think it's a joke. It will not end because the illegal bunkers have collaborators in security formations. Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Okay. Yeah. Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say. So you said the illegal bunkers have collaborations. Are we going to expect a report to come out that you had been working on? So you did say that your phones are missing. So how much of the information that you were gathering is still with you, right? And also, why was there such a delay in releasing you? Why did there need to be public pressure before you were released?
Okay. Good. So my phone was eventually returned after pressure, but it took a long time, and they haven't punished the soldier who did it. How much do I still have a story? I'll be honest, it's the first time I have genuinely felt my security compromised. I believe the army deliberately, this acting spokesman of the Nigerian army, deliberately compromised my security by releasing that statement and linking me to oil bunkers. Because FIJ announced that I was in detention and made no mention of oil bunkering. Now you've gone to tell illegal oil bunkers. That's what you did. That look, this guy was on your trail. Now we have told you. So my utmost concern now is my security has been compromised by the Nigerian army that should be interested in ending illegal oil bunkering and should have seen me as a partner.
But at what point did they realize that you were not an oil bunkerer, but an investigative undercover journalist?
Wednesday evening.
At what point?
Around 5-6 p.m. Wednesday
The same day?
Wednesday? Wednesday. They picked me up around 2 a.m. Wednesday.
Oh.
And I was in that camp morning, afternoon, then around evening before 5, I got there, and then so they knew since Wednesday because I gave them my real name. I told them, look, they were saying, even if you're a journalist, can't a journalist be an illegal oil bunker? I said, look, all my stories have been experiencing the crimes I'm trying to expose firsthand and providing hard evidence. I've gone to prison undercover. I've gone to psychiatric home. I spent 10 hours in a psychiatric hospital as a patient undercover to write a story on it. I tracked an orphanage for 19 months undercover. I got myself trafficked to Burkina Faso, experienced everything, and I was giving them the titles. Go online and check. That's the track record for years. So I believe that they knew immediately on Wednesday that I was an investigative journalist. Now to Adeswa's question, so why did they keep me? I think the army should be the ones to answer that question. One, if it did not get to the media yesterday that I was in detention, I would still be there. I repeatedly asked them, and I need to speak to my lawyer. Look, I've not committed murder. So let's even say that I'm an illegal oil bunkerer. I'm saying I want to talk to my lawyer. That one phone call, I should be able to make it to my lawyer. And they denied me. And they instructed all soldiers around there that not one of them must give me their phones. I must not use a phone to make a call to send a text. If not for the plans I had made before embarking on the story, those plans enabled my organization, FIJ, to know my location. If I hadn't made such plans using technology, I would still be in detention. They told me that I will investigate for as long as possible, even if it's 1 month, even if it's 2 months. Wow. The only reason I'm out now is that it got to the press. So what are you afraid of? Okay, you thought I was an illegal oil bunkerer when you picked me up. You've then found out I'm an investigative journalist. Why are you keeping me? By Wednesday night, they had become calmer in their relations with me. We were initially hostile because they thought I was a criminal. But by the time they found out in the evening, they had become relaxed, took me to the house of the commander of the, I think, anti-bunkery, Mashegu, if I get the name correctly. Sat down in his house, we talked, they gave me food and all that. So they knew I wasn't a criminal at that point.
All this in Port Harcourt?
Yes, the Liverpool Remedy Champions League. I'm an incredible Liverpool fan. On Wednesday, I watched a good part of it in his house, in the house of the commander. So they knew that I wasn't a criminal. That's why they allowed all that. So why did they keep me? Who were the interests? Who thought that if this guy got out, there was trouble? Now, the army, the Nigerian, that spokesman has to issue another statement. Colonel, what's the name again? Colonel Danjuma. I'm saying it on national TV. Colonel Danjuma, you have to issue another statement and explain to Nigerians why the things I told the army in my statement got out before me. And you released me, and the illegal oil bunkers were telling me exactly the things that I told you.
All right.
They were telling me that they even watched my last interview on Arise TV. That they sent to them from 6 Div.
That 6 Div sent them your interview
people
from
6 Div.
Wow.
Sent my last interview
to the illegal oil bunkers.
Yes, to say, look at the guy that you brought. Where did you meet this guy from? Who is this guy that you brought? So if we are going to end illegal oil bunkering, we have to look at all the security formations. That's where the cleanup starts.
That's correct.
It's not
That's
the
correct,
people
Mr.
on the streets who are looking forward to it.
But when you say these things, does it not appear as if beyond being an investigative undercover journalist, that there's a friendship between you and the illegal bunkerers? Why have you continued to relate with them to the extent that they are able to share information coming to them from the army with you?
For my security. So I had a bag with them before. Again, you have to realize that I obtained hard evidence by experiencing the entire process. So we were to load crude onto a truck and move it to Enugu. A buyer was waiting. Some moving to Enugu, some moving to Anambra or Abia, and then some go as far as Kano. So we were to move, but I wanted to see the site. So I insisted. And last minute, they said, drop the bag. Of course, they knew that it could go south. Said, oh, this is your bag, you don't need it. This item, you don't need it. So I dropped 2 items with them, and I went. And of course, from there, I ended up with the military. I needed to retrieve my property with them. So I still had to interact with them. Now, the thing is, there's not a friend. I'll be honest. The 2 guys who were the food soldiers, those are not people I'm interested in. Those are people who are victims of the country, who have no job, who want to make ends meet. They need to eat somehow. Those are not the people. They have bigger backers. And those are the people that I think should be exposed. The people in security formations whose job, look, there's no society that can function well when institutions are lax. When you can commit crimes and the institutions that should prevent the crimes, that should prosecute you for being a criminal, are your collaborators. So for me, the bigger deal is that security formations take bribes. It will shock you the kind of people who escort illegal oil bunkers out of Port Harcourt. It's public. The army spokesman knows it.
Did you witness that?
Of course. That's
did?
why I was there. Yes. But I'm not going to say the security formation online because, as I said, this army spokesman already compromised my security by going online to say you found a journalist at the site of an illegal oil bunkering site, a gang of thieves. The real gang of thieves, they're in that. I'll be honest, there are people who are clean in the army. Yes, in the course of that's why one of the reasons why trucks get burnt, why illegal oil bunkering sites get destroyed. Another reason is that some don't get bribed, and then they sabotage the process. But yes, there are clean men in the military, but the major cleanup has to happen from the saboteurs in there.
You have to get
At
rid
6
of those.
div. How can you grill a journalist at 6 div and the information is out with smugglers? With oil bunkers.
So yes,
that's a huge indictment.
What you're saying is we have good apples, but we have some bad apples.
And the bad apples outnumber the good apples.
Them.
Let me return quickly to the issue of the oil bunkering and your submission that it may never stop. I chose to use the word may. You said can and never stop. This is my worry. Apart from institutions and military formations that are there, particularly the Navy, we have Tantita, who government is paying billions of naira on a monthly annual basis to ensure some sanity, and catch thieves. And you think that with all that, we still can't get it right? The government has pegged its 2025 budget on 2 million barrels per day. You think that is not achievable with what you've experienced? And then 90, and I like to quote this a lot, 90's report, I think it will be between 1995, it's a 15-year report up until 2021 or something like that. They found that the amount that Nigeria lost to oil theft was far bigger than the amount that that government claimed to have spent on what was that thing they removed? Subsidy. Because of the huge amount of crude that we're losing to this day. You think that this thing is so lucrative and the environment is so lax that it will continue? If it will continue, are we doomed to that reality?
First thing is the figures being put out in terms of crude oil theft. I can tell you that they are an underestimation of the real figures. The truck that we used was to move 50,000 liters of crude. We had reached the point where the crude would be loaded. The hose had been passed out. If that one person that was annoyed that he didn't get bribed, did not talk, 2 trucks would have moved. Because there was a second truck that was to come behind us. And that's it. So if you then look at all the oil producing states, and that's just one point of loading, you know, I've seen roughly 4 potential crude oil theft points in Port Harcourt alone. So add the other oil producing states. It's a lot of crude that the country is losing. But again, there is no institution that can say for a fact the barrels of crude being lifted from the refineries daily. So it's not only the illegal oil bunkers who are thieves. Some of the people whose job officially is to supervise the process, their hands are not clean as well. So I don't see the situation improving anytime soon, because what would be needed would be an overhaul the security apparatus. Because as I said, the saboteurs outnumber the good eggs. It's not for the fun of, you know, the exposés. It's not for the adventure. It's that we need to understand the problems of this country. If you don't even understand the scale of our problems, we can't begin to talk of cleaning up the system. Look at what I did on smugglers. You closed the border, right? You closed the borders and you said no moving of rice into the country. But then you then have people in customs. It's the Nigerian Customs Service that supervises the smuggling of rice. Now, the president should open the borders, let people move in rice legitimately, and support local farmers. You are destroying the economy. You are destroying the economy if we can't meet our rice needs. Rice is a staple, and the president cannot say, if you can't meet our needs, let's come up with a 5-year plan to support local farming. People have to know that in their country they can thrive by doing honest business. Now you've closed the borders, then people feel the only way to make money from rice is to smuggle. Now you're ruining the economy. Now someone has to expose that so that we know. And when people bring in rice,
you have a court case as a result of your...
Yes, and when people bring in rice, when you give people to bring they hide other things in there. Yeah. Are you able to prove? Before the army picked me up, I got intel that they were going to bring in some things that were in rice. And so you are compromising national security, and you are destroying the economy. So it's not just about exposing the stories. You need to understand the danger that some of these decisions pose to our collective interests. Because when you have people in border areas who only think they can smuggle to make a living, they become criminals, they want to have guns. The day they are not smuggling, but they need to use their gun, they'll use it on you and me if they have to. If the borders are so lax, I can bring anything in. The borders are so lax. I got an international passport in this country, fake, and I traveled through the borders, out and in, and nobody found me out. You can't have a country like that and think you are fighting security. Putting billions into security formations. If the borders are so porous, we can bring in arms and ammunition. And people who do it are connected to some of the people in the highest levels in security in this country. Then what are we talking about?